Okay, so if you render this out, now you can see there's a little bit of reflection that's happening in this object. I'm actually going to change this from a cube to a sphere. It'll be easier to see. And I'm going to change the global scale of that bump channel a little bit too. It's too much. Go back down to 100. All right. So there we can see we're getting a little bit of reflection that's happening from the floor. That's a little bit lighter at the bottom, and the top is a little bit darker, reflecting the sky above. The other thing that will help this in giving it more dimension is to add a light source. So over in the top palette here, you can see this little lighting tool palette. The first light is the easiest one to use. We'll start with that today, and we'll talk about the other ones later. This is a omnidirectional light, so it's going to be a light source that shoots out in every different direction. That's going to drop in at 0, 0, 0 as well, so you need to move it in the scene in order to be able to see it. All right, so I'm just going to move it up a little bit, move it over a little bit, maybe a little bit higher there, so you can see the. And now when we render this out, you can see that we're definitely getting more of that reflected kind of floor, and the top is illuminated a different way. Also notice the bump channel has more shadow to it. You know, it's really activated by that light source. Notice how the floor doesn't have any shadow on it. That's because we haven't selected the light to actually have a shadow. So sometimes you want to illuminate something and not have it cast a shadow, and other times you really do. In order to do that, if you click on the light in the Objects Manager, down in the Attributes Manager, you can make sure that you have that on. So if you click on Shadow, right now the shadow is none. There's a few different types of shadow. Soft shadow will give you kind of that soft hazy cast around the object like that, and also on the object itself. Notice what it does to the floor. Also, you get this gradient now. Instead of having that thing just end in space, you have this slow gradient from light to dark. The ray traced is a hard shadow, and that's going to give you kind of a hard perimeter line. So that's going to give you more of like a spot lit kind of direct kind of shadow across the surface. And the last one is an area shadow, and the area is going to take longer to render, but it's going to change your light into more of a kind of a indirect sort of light source, and the shadow is going to be a little bit different here. Notice how the shadow has a gradient that moves out of it, and it also has this sort of grainier texture to it. So so these things are going to be important to help show the dimension, the texture of the surface of the object. And then of course there's controls in the light as well. So if you click on General, you can also control the color of the light. So let's say you wanted to have a light that was a little bit more of an orangish yellow cast. You could do that. Hit OK, and we render this out. Now you can see it changes the color of the whole entire scene and the object itself. We get a more of a kind of that orangish hazy cast there. If you click on Shadow, you can also control the color of the shadow. So you might want to do like maybe a cooler shadow could be interesting, more of like a bluish purple might be nice. And so there you can see now it's a little bit more of the bluish color at the bottom. You can also control the density of the shadow. So if I make this shadow 50% instead of 100%, and I render this out, notice so you get the shadow's less dense. It's lighter in color. That's definitely too light. Let's try 70, might be better. Render that out. Yeah, that's not that great either. Let's try 90. This is where you really need to experiment. Just play around a little bit, see what these different objects, what the different textures can do, how you can manipulate the forms of these materials.